Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you guys can see, the Corvette is behind us and we're kind of working on that today. Well, we're working on a part for it today, and that part is this idler pulley bracket that bolts onto the water pump. You guys might remember this. This one actually specifically we filmed a video on a while back. Basically what happened was this pulley locked up. I stripped the bolt out on it, and then I ended up buying a new bracket. And that's what we see on the card right now. Well, here's the problem. I already upgraded to the ATI Pulley. This is actually not the ATI Pulley. This is the one from the upper, but you guys get the idea. Upgraded to I believe this fits a 12 or 14 rib pulley. And we're wanting to fit a 10 rib pulley setup on this car. If you guys see those black lines, what I need to do is I actually need to bring the edge of this pulley that far down, like 1/4 of an inch. And the reason we need to do that is because the 10 rib, I measured it from when we put the supercharger pulley on. The 10 rib, you know, goes out so many inches, so much. I think it goes out another ½ inch from where about this is. Not ½ inch, but just less than half. So the problem is where the pulley sits on the Edelbrock Eforce bracket right here, it actually pushes the pulley too far that way. So we need to machine this inner lip towards the front of the car so we can push this ATI pulley back this way. You guys remember the video from last week where we sent up this little mini compound bench? Well, you guys can see some chips, you guys can see some marks on it. Well, that is because we have been using that. And I'm not sure if you guys can see, but if you guys look underneath the pulley there, try to get you some better light. There you go. If you guys look under the pulley there, we use that to machine out, like a ½ inch edge right there. And so that's kind of our plan. I tested one side to just make sure that this was gonna work. And you guys can see some marks there, well, some mistakes. And so what we're gonna do is, you see this lip here that we've created, we're gonna machine that all the way around this part. All right guys, so you can see we have our bracket. We took the pulley off. You guys can see that fully machine edge in the corner there. So basically what we're doing is we're using our little table and we're just making small cuts going this way. I've learned that if you go side to side, the chuck wants to fall out. Not really sure why that is, but if you go front to back, it seems to work a lot better. So let's go ahead and fire up the drill press, and we'll see if we're close enough to start taking out some metal. Alright, so you guys can see the little machined edge there. Obviously, this is very slow, and actually the hardest part is getting the bit started. Once you get past that, you can kind of move in, take a line, move in, take a line, move in, take a line. So let's get a little bit further along in this process and we'll show you our update. Alright guys, we have had a major fail. Basically what was happening with this was the chuck just wanted to fall out every time I tried to put pressure on, you know, move it this way, that way. I moved the bracket around, I moved the whole table around, and this thing, every time it would just even attempt to touch the aluminum bracket, it would just fall. So you guys will see a bunch of marks on the bottom here. I tried to grind them down, well, not grind them down, I just tried to use my file to file some of the marks down, but you guys will see that that was a major fail. And actually how I did most of that, I ended up using my bandsaw over there in the corner. And so I was able to cut roughly 3/4 of the way around it. And then I just used my Dremel right here. Use a Dremel with some more cut-off disc. I cut off all the extra. Then I used the Dremel again with a different head on it. This is actually a carbide tip. I use a diamond carbide tip. Use that to make this round, and then I've just used my file ever since. And I just try to file everything smooth. Now, I will say this is horrific looking. But If he gets the job done, that's all that I care about. So, like I said, here's our horrific looking bracket. Here's our pulley. If you guys look, it's still sitting in the same spot. And to actually bring the pulley in, I need to cut this bracket down to threaded spot, probably about 1/4 of an inch. We'll have to determine how much I need to cut this down, but I actually need to make, good thing I have my band, so I'm going to change the blade before we do this, but I'll cut this flat. We'll file it real quick, or we'll use my belt sander, probably a better idea. Use my belt sander, we'll cut this down, and this will allow us to bring the pulley down and in like we need to. So right now it fits fine, but like I said, we obviously need to cut that down and bring everything down. So we got step 1 done, getting the pulley machined. We need to make that cut, and then we'll be almost done. I could TIG weld this if I screw up. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to point out. Guys, this is an extra bracket. I have the good bracket still in the car, so if this doesn't work out, you know, this is a good learning lesson to the bracket that we have on the car. So, you know, just in case we mess this up completely, we still have that spare bracket that's in the car. The only thing I'd be kind of concerned about is if we do cut this, there is not much threaded material in here. So I'm going to have to bring a tap and die and go a lot deeper than what Edelbrock did. Edelbrock only went down like, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch of thread. But if you look at the hole, it goes probably 1 inch, 1.25 inches, maybe 1 inch deep, and they only went about halfway down. So if we cut that, you know, that'd be all right. Oh, the other good thing is, if we do cut that, what we're cutting off will actually be the threads that we messed up, because the very last 3 or 4 threads are bad. If we end up cutting that off, that's great. All right, guys, so I actually grabbed a metric 8 by 1.25 tap. I ended up tapping this hole. I was lucky that I actually had the tap. So if you guys can see down there, I tapped the hole all the way through, so that's tapped probably a solid inch compared to the 1/2 inch that it was before. And what we're working on now is actually working on the level of the pulley to make sure that this thing's gonna spin straight. I'm basically kind of just taking a file and filing down the sides very carefully, very slowly, and making sure that we get a flat surface here. Now, if this table had worked properly, you know, I think we would have been a lot closer, but, you know, it is what it is. I will say this, the milling table is actually a very good platform to bolt down your products to. The arms that came with it are actually working pretty well. All right, guys, we've gotten the bracket finally fully machined, and as you guys can see, we're perfectly level on the pulley, so we're good there. All right, guys, so I actually got the 10 rib pulley out. I just wanted to show you guys how much clearance we're gonna have or not gonna have. So there you guys can see the 10 rib next to the ATI idler pulley. And yeah, I mean, this thing won't have, you know, if we put a belt on there from lip to lip, the pulleys are the same width. Obviously, there's probably like 1/4 inch on each side, so, you know, the 10 rib belt will pretty much take up this entire pulley. So actually, here's an 8 rib belt in comparison. You know, it's definitely going like that, and then add another set of 2 ribs on the front. It's definitely going to be close. So yeah, that belt width is really why we kicked off this whole project. And if you guys look, we probably moved the pulley in a good 1/4 of an inch, and you guys can barely see it, but there is a gap there between the pulley and the bracket. I can spin it right now. It's not grinding or anything like that, so it's gonna be tight, but, you know, just due to the fact that that 10 rib belt is so wide, that's why we had to move this in. Pretty much almost 1/4 inch, maybe not fully 1/4 inch, but almost 1/4 inch. And so yeah, that is the 10 rib bracket ready to go back on the Corvette. Now, I'm not actually going to install this today due to the fact that pretty much have to pull the fan shroud out, because the way this pulley setup works is it's right on there. And the other thing we will have to do is when we do actually go to install a 10 rib belt drive, we're going to have to take this off anyway, because this idler pulley is a different size. This is I believe it's 100 millimeter, and I think the pulley down there is 3 inch. So whatever 3 inch converts out to millimeter, might be 90, something like that. So, oh, and one more thing, if you guys missed it, this is my backup bracket. This is the one that I replaced probably about a year ago due to the fact that I ended up stripping this bolt out. But just having to cut down the nub that's sticking up from the bracket itself and then tapping it You know, this bracket's perfectly good condition, so I figured, hell, you know, if we screwed up, not a bigger deal. We still have the good one. So that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. If you guys actually want to see this pulley, this bracket, and eventually get installed with the 10 rib kit, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification button. That way you guys know when I upload new content. And if you guys want to help support the channel, I might have some of the tools and parts that we used today. I'll definitely have the ATI Pulley, that Eforce bracket. I'll include a part number, and then I'll include the rest of the tools that we used today. Oh, and also check out our website, BonecrrusherSS.com. Thanks, guys. Have a great one.